The Demon Seed, 40 pounder. 40 pounder, chat. Look at my 4/4 Radiant Elemental. It's so big. Have you seen a bigger Radiant Elemental than this ever in your whole life? Chat, we have found the Bloodbound Imp Enjoyer. Alright? That is what stage we're on. Please don't kill this. Come on, be nice. Be nice. It's okay. It's okay to not kill this, all right? You don't need to. Let some of the rest of us have fun. All right, you can play Dark Lair in a minute. Don't you dare. No. So rude. The gall of some of these people, you know what I mean? Zoop. Cut off one Radiant Elemental, 2 more take its place. So next turn will be turn 5, which is not the ideal time to go off, but we can do boop, 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 and then play this. Yeah, something about Bloodbound Imp, Flame Imp, Demon Seed that's just, you know, it's how it was meant to be played. Don't you think this is the spirit of it? You just play some things that are like good on their own and they have some self-damage application to them, and you slowly chip away at your Demon Seed. Oh yeah. Wonder how long before Radiant doesn't reduce below 1. Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Priest doesn't really have any ice blocks to exacerbate its Radiant Elemental problem. And it doesn't have like its direct damage is really janky, you know. The Potion of Madness thing, that's the direct damage. They're like, they run a few minions and you just have to keep the board clear, and then they can't OTK you unless they're running a janky combo that makes the first part of that a lot harder. You know, Mage, and like we're still running Handmaiden, the Garbo draw card, because there isn't a better option. Mage is like dripping with spells that draw, right? So like, the power level of Sorcerer's Apprentice in Mage is at a completely different scale compared to the power level of it in Priest. So like I would guess a while, but especially considering, you know, people complain about the Demon Seed far more than they complain about Radiant Elemental, right? And that's still standing. So it would take like some cheap Priest draw, and I think in a decent volume, to where they would want to like start cutting Power Root Shield and Handmaiden from these decks before Radiant Elemental is a very serious problem. You know, Smalna, that build's substantially different. It's different in that it runs Smalna instead of the Inner Fire stuff.
Job's done.
Wow. Well, my opponent has not Renethalled or played the Demon Seed quests, so who knows what they're up to? I certainly don't.
Sorry, boss.
Oh, it's this thing. Well then. Well then, chat. Nope, I messed up. Chat, I messed up, I'm stupid. But someone has to be. You know what I mean? Might as well be me. Might as well be me. I almost did that right, and then I made a bad MartianBuu. This should be at 1 left. I'm kind of excited to play this discard warlock deck. I should work on that for next stream. I actually have a surprising list of decks I want to play. Yesterday or the day before, I was thinking what do I even want to play when I stream next? But they've kind of stacked up. What did we get? Silver Golem. Remember when Silver Golem got buffed? So funny. So funny, chat. Did it again, but I wasn't going to take him in here. Let's go. All right, so could do stuff. How do you guys like that turn? Rate it on a scale from Radiant Elemental to Grave Horde. Are you pro or against cards that reduce cost to 0 that are very cheap, like Radiant or Old Concierge? I think some of the most fun I've ever had in Hearthstone is playing old Quest Mage with Sorcerer's Apprentice in Year of the Dragon, so around Rise of Shadows. I think that is the type of deck that needs to be fringe playable for it to be acceptable, you know? You don't want the player base to commonly run into decks that do nothing for a couple turns and then play 1,000 cards in a turn and win. You know, that's not a fun play experience to encounter commonly. But I do think that when those decks are only fringe playable, that they add a lot to the game for a certain section of the player base, if you know what I mean. So, I mean, like anything, you just have to do it right. What did they get, though? The new temporary guy. So you play the temporary steward thing, excuse me, and then you play plot twist, and it'll discard all the cards you just drew, so you can, rapidly do a bunch of discard synergies. Pro Cybot. I haven't seen a single Melon Druid. People figured out the deck is not as good as they thought. Yep. I think so. I was looking at the stats for it at one point. It's really low 40s was doo-doo. Seems funny. Yeah, it does seem funny, honestly. It's like Stealer Souls, but with fundamental differences. Yeah, exactly. If you squint and look at it with your head tilted, looks like Stealer of Souls. Yeah, Sphere of Sapience, that's how you know, chat. That's how you know you're up against a player. When they hit you with the Sphere of Sapience on 1 as a hunter. Thank goodness Melon Druid is solitaire with a victim. What does it mean? You know, I'm not saying this is you, but I forget if it was yesterday's video or the day before, but I was talking about how every time the shadowstep argument comes up, maybe I can find the comment, I like roll my eyes because it's such a silly argument. It's a 3. I'd really like to play that this turn, but I don't think it's happening. Or is it? It isn't. But you know what they say: spaghetti noodle soup. So I was saying that the shadow step, whenever the shadow step argument comes up, I roll my eyes because I think it's so silly, and I'm not like trying to single anybody out because it comes from a lot of directions. Yeah, I think it was day before yesterday's. Here we go. So this is how I view this is how I view a lot of the comments. All right, when I see this type of thing, this is how, like, you know how you'll have like a, you know how when there's like a social political view and people will paint the entire side as having you know, the worst version of that opinion. Like if I was trying to slander everyone who has that shadow step opinion, this is the person that I would choose. All right. I guess I don't need to waste this. So here's what they said. All right. Hard disagree on the shadow step discussion. That card has been busted since Classic, and every time Rogue is broken, what do you know? They run shadow step and abuse it. That card has seen its time, and I'm so tired of playing against it 24/7 for 10 years. At least remove it from standard for the first time since the game exists, so we can finally see Rogue not abusing that busted card. The quickest way to get me to ignore your argument is to use the word abuse, by the way. I have no respect for it. It's so it's making a big deal about something super minor, so like as soon as you use the word abuse, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, they're abusing it. But if you look at the stats, shadow step is not even the best card in any of the decks it's ever been in. You know, like it's frequently like the lowest drawn win rate card. It's just shadow step is really good at exposing cards that are too strong, because if you get a second one for cheap, if that's the worst feeling a deck creates, it's like, okay, that is too busted. You know, that's more what shadow step does. And I'm not trying to say that shadow step is a bad card by any means, but it's just like there are plenty of cards that are really strong. And I also think if we're coming at it from the point of view of like nothing should be in standard forever, I completely agree. I think it's totally okay to shift shadow step out of standard for that reason. If it's just you know, standard should always feel new every year, so like things can come back, but things aren't just permanently in standard. Sure, why not? But like the over hatred for shadow step, when it like if it didn't come with this narrative that shadow step is broken, like if it was just I don't enjoy playing against shadow step and I'd like a year or two off, sure, but it always comes with this narrative that shadow step is somehow broken and Rogue is abusing it. Man, I want a Radiant Elemental. I want to do abuse Radiant Elemental, you know what I mean? You know, I could get on board. I could be like, yeah, you guys have a good point. And I agree, but like arguments like that are just so silly. And like the reason abuse is such a dumb word for this thing is because like cards are meant to have synergy, right? You know, like if you have a good battle cry on a minion and then you shadow step it and play it again, that's the intended use case. What do you mean abuse? That's just use, right? It's okay to use a card. There's nothing inherently wrong with you know, putting a card in your deck and then putting other cards to go well with that card. You know, you can like abuse and exploit, right? But when it comes to just like this card pairs well with this card, that's not abuse, that's just deck building. So anyways, we could all be a little less dramatic if we don't want me to scoff at silly comments. I don't know that I wanted to play this Radiant Elemental here, honestly. I think I may have made one of my famous doo-doos. I think this may have been one of those marshy mistake times. Actually, I can still play this, can't I? All right, no, I'm actually brilliant, chat. As it turns out, I'm the smartest cookie of all the cookies that aren't one of the other ones. And I guess do my best to keep it kind of alive. We'll see what happens. They abuse the English language, am I right? True. Playing shadowstep is abuse and should be reported to the authorities, and if you disagree, you're a criminal. Too true. Did I buy the Ragnaros? No. Too far. Too expensive. Like insta not consideration. I don't know, that like making the cosmetics like that is just taking advantage of people's love for Hearthstone, and it cringes me out, makes me feel exploited rather than appreciated. So shadowstep is much like Leroy, where you don't see it until it does something really good a lot of the time. Yeah. Your opponent is abusing Radiant by playing spells for cheap. They really are. I wish they would stop, because I wanted to do that, you know? I wanted to abuse Radiant to play spells for cheap. I think it would be better for everyone if we just left that to me. I think that'd be great. Hey! Uh-oh. So I can chill and Vol'jin, take this for myself. Should I do that? Here, I'll put this. And yeah, I guess I'll chill and Vol'jin, right? This and this. And then I don't know. I don't think I did this turn very well, if I'm honest with you. Chat, I could have done better. But you know what they say. Whoopsie oopsies. Maybe they'll chill and Vol'jin me back. We're getting abused by Blizzard prices? I agree. Is it cheating if they attack a minion using Chillwind Yeti and Shadowstep the Yeti to restore its health to normal? That is abusing Shadowstep to do something useful. I don't know. Can people stop abusing freeze when I'm trying to kill them with a weapon? I know, right? Does my opponent have multiple potions? Ray's dead. My opponent is running quite the list. I am not sure what's happening. Chat. Wish my opponent would stop abusing me being sad that they're doing what they're doing. Obviously, shadowstep can't be that strong when neither player is using it here. Too true. Too true. Am I dead? Am I as dead as a dead knob? No, I don't want to die. I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. Burner, burner, ow. Can you give me a quick guide on how to play this deck? I built it today and I feel like I'm really bad. Mulligan for Radiant Elemental and Power Word Shields. Thank you. Try to play a ton of spells early so that your Grave Horrors are really cheap. You're trying to vomit out as much stats as early as you possibly can. So your opponent hasn't had time to draw the answers they would need to respond to it. And then you just try to stick something, right? And eventually Divine Shield, Inner Fire to finish them off if your early giant spam wasn't enough. Right? PP. Hey, another Radiant Elemental. Fancy that. I guess I'll do this. We'll smack him with a 7 damage Radiant Elemental. See how that goes for us. They never have an answer. Play New Heights and then lose to me. Bio Project, don't play Seeds. Come on, let me win. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. How's your Japanese going? I am doing so much work on that. You don't even know. The real answer is I have not been good about making that happen, unfortunately. But you know what they say. Those were not my favorite results with Handmaiden. But I do want to play all of these giants this turn, so I guess that's what I'm doing. Do your worst, PP. You played a lot against Demon Seed and lost pretty much every game. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. As far as I know, based off of what people are telling me, Demon Seed is unbeatable, so, you know, I'm sure you did your best. I concede. Poison Seeds doesn't exist? Come on. Hello, Marshy. Have you tried Monkey Business? I haven't yet, no, but that's funny. Monkey Business would be very silly in this deck, I'll say that much. Marshy, can I share my Fell Fatigue Warlock I broke into top 500 with? You can share it in my Discord. That's the share place. Unless you don't want me to look at it, or don't care if I look at it, in which case you can put it in chat for others to see. That I don't mind. Your wish is my potato. Wow. It's Radiant Elemental time. Radiant Elemental Tim. Wild Growth. Getting Wild Growth off of Zephyrus and Reno Druid has, like, I don't know. Feels terrible, right? I should have done this. I'm stupid, but you got a bunch of wild growths anyway. You won't have to bother with that. Rude. Absolutely rude. Chat, is this the worst song I've ever heard in my life? Has no time for no monkey business? True. I don't have time for any monkey business. When will my opponent consider losing to me, chat? This hand is not, like, really doing it for me. Ah! My salvation. Spaghetti, speak to Her Majesty. Oh my goodness, I can't. Oh, just yuck. Wait, we win, right? Or do we? Not quite. This is why I think, like, Bless is worth it. Bless doesn't even quite get there either, does it? Where is the next funnel cake? That's what I really need. Alright. Beep, boop. Power Kirby. What's the cut for Bless? Inner Fire. You run one or the other. You can also go halvesies. But like when I was playing this deck, I was playing Bless, not Inner Fire. The nice part about this is it's easier to combo with only one Radiant Elemental out, obviously. Look at all my extra damage I get on these. Don't I just win now, though? Like, do I need to bother drawing more cards and stuff? You know, it's not MartianBuu if there isn't any BM. That's my opinion. Where is my last divine spirit? What are they doing to me over there? Wow, that's a big old boy. Oh my goodness. Makabama. All before the giant Ragnaros times. And it is a shaman. Day 1350 of MartianBuu being my most used emote daily. I'm glad you enjoyed that one, Ash. How are you? Do you think I will top deck a Radiant Elemental? That's the real question. Do you think my opponent's gonna sit there thinking about life? Okay, good. Okay. I'm to understand that this is a bug, right? Like if both players are Ragnaros, it's not bugged. Marcy, I know you, I believe in you, but knowing you wins out, you will not top deck Radiant. Oh no. Oh no. No Radiant Elementals for me this time. They're thinking about my life too if I bought that Rex skin. Okay. Uh-oh. This is the type of matchup where we need to get on board doing our thing right away or we don't win, right? So, not looking good. Ooh. No! Betrayed. Betrayed by Scrumbus.
Turn down that racket.
Well, I didn't love that, but it wasn't Lotheb. I wonder if I should have tried to play something else. Oh, thank goodness. I knew I'd see him eventually. I knew he'd come to save me. Alright, we're gonna try to play these giants this turn. Alright. Chad, if Martian revives Miracle Rogue, do we denounce him as a necromancer? Yeah. How many times has this archetype been nerfed since Nathria? Miracle Rogue? I want to do the cute Vol'jin thing. Neat. All right. Can we please win this turn? There is a maiden left. There's only a maiden left. But I won't be playing it this turn, no matter what, right?
An impure strategy will fail. Time grows short.
I know. I feel like if I lose out on a on all my elementals for the rest of the game, I'll be sad. Sick. Wait, I get to do the funny Vol'jin thing? Well, we get to do it as long as they don't like ruin us, right? They might ruin us, chat. But I can like yeah, so hold on. So 16 and 16 is 32, isn't it? So it's exact lethal. Yay! Yay, chat, we get to do the funny. Whee! Good deal. That was a slow burn. And just sat there like like slowly dying over 10,000 years. That's BM, by the way. So at some point in this video, I had already assembled enough damage for lethal, but wanted to keep going to see just how big of a minion I could make with the draw power that I had left to use. The motivation for this was because it was very funny to me, and I have no regrets and I'd do it again. In some games following that one, I had a chatter who I'm not trying to put on the spot. This is like an argument from them that I've heard from a lot of other people before. They were just the person who was making the argument to me this time. They did it in a kind of different way though. They weren't saying it was just BM. They wanted me to organize the cards in such a way that it looked like I had been digging for a specific piece, you know, like I didn't have the overkill already. And honestly, once you see the third divine spirit, you just kind of know that it's unnecessary in that spot. But I don't care what my opponent thinks in these situations, and I was trying to make that point, and I don't know that I was doing it very well. I opted not to use those games, but I did end up getting frustrated eventually, and I think it's not because this person was being more irritating than normal. I could tell they were definitely trying to be respectful of my viewpoint, even though they kept going at a philosophy that I disagree with entirely. But I think it just kind of clicked that because I'm not really trying to do this full time anymore, that maintaining a certain appearance doesn't matter as much anymore to me. I don't know, for whatever reason, I just didn't care to be as courteous as I usually care to be. And I let myself be really irritated and vent how childish I think over harping on how you behave in game for something like this is. And I did say this while we were talking about it, that there's a difference between doing what you can to make the biggest funny number you can and deliberately wasting the opponent's time. So deliberately wasting the opponent's time is playing all of your actions and then just waiting for the rope to burn for the sake of irritating your opponent, or holding off on your last bit of damage in hand while waiting for the entire rope to burn to maximize frustration. I used the time I had available to make the biggest possible number. I was using that time. I wasn't specifically waiting to draw it out as long as I could to maximize opponent irritation. I think that difference is pretty obvious. But anyways, the more people complain to me about, you know, emoting and BM when it comes to just, you know, enjoying my side, the less I care to tolerate those arguments in the future. So everything you do in a player versus player game is at the expense of your opponent, unless you're colluding with them like you might be in a friendly match. You know, you guys can team up to do something fun together, but otherwise, you know, what you're doing is at the expense of your opponent. So when it comes to actual gameplay, do whatever funny stuff you want to do, and if your opponent doesn't like it, you know, they can just be unhappy until they queue another game. And if it really gets to them, then they shouldn't be playing games like this. And if you disagree with my point of view, I don't know, I don't care. I think you're a silly, silly goose, and you can just go be a silly goose. Love you, bye.